You know, John Wick Chapter 3 is coming up soon next Friday. I'm very excited, and I think I am going to start a new series tonight. I am going to review John Wick's Chapters 1 and 2, and I'm going to start off with the first one. And the cool thing I'm happy to say is that I got a new intro. Let's hit it. John Wick is a 2014 action film with Keanu Reeves, and this movie is about an assassin named John Wick. He's someone that actually used to be an assassin, but when the Russian mafia threatens his life, he has to get revenge on them. And from the way that I see this film, it's basically just a basic revenge type of movie. You have this type of mob that upsets Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves wants revenge, and then you got a badass movie. And that's pretty much all I have to say about John Wick. This was a pretty big movie back in 2014. I actually remember a lot of people talking about how this was like a comeback role for Keanu Reeves because of how The Matrix, Reloaded, and Revolutions were in the early 2000s, and they said that this was his comeback role 11 years later in 2014. And look at us now in 2019 with his third movie coming out. And when I was about to see this movie, I really had no idea what to expect. People were telling me about the action stunts and all the fight scenes and the choreography. Well, I'm proud to say that John Wick still has Keanu Reeves kicking a lot of ass in his 50s.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
People could watch John Wick in basically two ways. You could watch this as a simple action/revenge story, or you can analyze this film as an analytical type of action film. And I have to say, John Wick is really interesting because I believe it's both a simple revenge arc story as well as a film that you can analyze, especially when it comes to the way of cinematography through action sequences. And that's what I find really fascinating about the film John Wick. John Wick is a film that has a very simple and basic type of storytelling based on revenge plots. You have the Russian mob upsetting John Wick. John Wick gets angry. He has to go back to his old ways of fightings and gun skills. And then you got a revenge movie, and that's honestly what you get from John Wick. When you watch the movie, you're able to understand everything. It's not supposed to be in a way of how it's analytical, where you have to figure out meanings, because basically John Wick is just going out, killing all the baddies, and that's just all what you get. But what's analytical is the fight choreography scenes of this movie. Honestly, that is what John Wick is known for. It's cinematography and it's fight choreography, because the way that how these fight scenes are filmed is just simple. There's no shaky cam like in the Bourne trilogy, nor like quick cuts, but that scene that I just showed y'all with Keanu Reeves, that's one of the things I really appreciate about John Wick, is how it's able to use one takes from time to time just to capture the scenes of where Keanu Reeves does his stunts. You're really able to feel every punch, every gunshot, everything that the extras and Keanu Reeves do, because when they get really physical, you actually do feel as if the actioning is happening right in front of you. And especially for Keanu Reeves, who's kind of in his mid-50s now, it's really impressive to see how much physical training that he had to go through just to play John Wick. And what I find really cool is that he does not look any different than how he did back in '99 when he did The Matrix. Especially the way he moves, his kung fu moves. I mean, can't you believe the guy? I believe Keanu Reeves is very immortal when it comes to action. Now, even though I did touch upon the cinematography of the way how the fight scenes are filmed, what is not really talked about is how great the simple cinematography is. The movie uses so many colors in this film, not just the nightclub scene, but in almost every scene. When it's day or night, there's all these type of colors that are revolving around John Wick. But when the colors come, that basically illustrates, you know, how much trouble he's in and how much of a challenge that his environment surrounding him is to him. I don't really have that many flaws with John Wick because of the type of film it's trying to be, But for my own personal flaw, I would probably say the villains are not too complex. Now, I know that's a little hypocritical of me of how I say John Wick is very simple of revenge, but I kind of wish that the villains were a bit more complex to me. Now, they did get good lines, they had very menacing scenes, and there was also that famous quote about how John Wick is the boogeyman and how he's gonna get you. But I kind of wish that they had a bit more than just, that they're being evil and they're part of a mob, but that's just me. But nevertheless, still check out John Wick because it is a great action film. People who want to make action movies one day have to study this film, as well as other films that are really good in action. And I highly recommend it, and based on grades, I think an 8 out of 10 would be great. A B. Perfect for a movie like this. And thank you very much for watching. I am so glad to be back to doing movie reviews. I may want to do even more movie reviews over the summer here on YouTube, but thank you very much, guys, and I hope to make even more changes this summer to my channel.